Yeah, what's going on, guys? I'm Coach Justin Hafner, probably one of the youngest coaches that Coach G has had on. I'm 24 years old, so still young and learning, obviously. Um, just to kind of give you a little bit of background about who I am, played wide receiver at a little school called Mayville State University, and I had an opportunity to be a student assistant there, work as a varsity receivers coach at my alma mater in Grand Forks called Red River High School. And then I had an opportunity to become the assistant offensive line and tight ends coach at Independence Community College. And so shout out to Kiyoshi Harris and Jason Brown. It's kind of where I learned a lot of offensive line play there. And in college, I really learned the RPO type stuff from John Haynes. Pretty much all of what I know RPO stuff is from him, and then indirectly learned a lot more this year at Midwestern, working as the running backs coach, and I worked as the assistant wide receivers coach for a little bit too, um, with Alex Heron. But it's really most of this stuff is Adam Austin's offense. So, kind of just to start off with, we're going to talk about your pre and post snap RPOs. Then we're going to talk about first level, second level, and third level RPOs as well. So, kind of just to start off with your pre and post um, RPOs are your most basic RPOs that you can think of, which is going to be your bubble and your outside receiver screens. So, really, what you want to tell your quarterback is it's a numbers game. It's leverage, all that type of stuff. So, what we did at Mayville State, and kind of what I want to do, as I'm giving out my secrets before I ever become an OC, so I might be screwing myself there, but what you want to do is if you see that corner off at 8, throw that bubble, because you're gonna get at least 3 to 5 yards out of it if you got somebody who can make somebody miss. Obviously that comes down to recruiting. If you got guys, this all helps you out. But here I'm just gonna show what we did this past couple years with the bubble. And this is just a pre-snap read right here. He notices either that corner is off or that rover is tucked in. So now the corner comes off. So quarterback sees he's off. He's going to throw that bubble out there. All right. And then you just got to catch and stretch. All right. So again, that just comes down to having a guy out there. Having a quarterback helps you out a lot. If that dude has some savviness to him, and having Leighton Rab back there really helped them out over the last couple of years. He had an opportunity with the Rams in camp before he got let go. But that's a real simple one. I don't have any outside receiver screen stuff, but that's out of the 2x2. And here's a bubble again. Again, it's a pre-snap. You got 2/3 right now. This is easy. This is stealing right here. Boom. Get 2 decent blocks out there and off to the races. It really helps when you got a guy who can stretch the field like that. But it's simple. I mean, it's just a numbers game out there. You have a corner who's off at, what is that, 8, 9? That's an easier block. All you have to do is kind of get in his way and then let your ball carrier make a play. That's all we got to do. All right. Next play here, we're talking about the 2x2. Now this is a post snap read, so it kind of turns into triple option at this point, where initially he doesn't like his numbers out here. He's got 3/2 right there. All right, so he's not going to like that, but he's going to decide to pull the ball, and he's just going to attack that rover, and then decides that, well, that guy's better at running the ball than I am, so I'm going to throw it out there to him. And that's what, kind of the triple option comes into effect right there. That guy's obviously better at running than I am, so I'm going to throw it out there. So that's the post snap part of it. All right. And then here's this next one is a 3x1 part. And it's post snap. So you motion to it, and it doesn't have to be behind the quarterback, but it can be behind the quarterback. And basically, what his decision making skills are right here are, well, they don't rotate properly to this. It's still 3/2, but that guy rotated down, and they're they're turning into a middle of the field closed team right here. Well, I can throw this ball out here and get two decent blocks and off to the races again. Again, it always helps to have a ball carrier and a quarterback who are good at making decisions, and a ball carrier who can make people miss, obviously. All right. So now, in the future, when I get an opportunity to call my own plays, um, I'm never going to call a pre or a post snap RPO. What I would like to do is put that on the front side of the run. So if I'm running inside zone to the right, I'm going to have a pre or a post snap screen out there already. Reason for this is because, one, I'm a receiver. I didn't think this way, but other receivers think this way. They don't want to block. You know, you got to kind of develop that into your room. As we're going to block, we have to block. You know, championship teams have receivers who block really well in the run game. But what you do is you are getting some sort of block out there from one of your receivers. And if it's a 3-by-1 set, then two of your receivers. But the defense is also going to have to respect that screen if you're good at throwing screens. So you're still blocking three people, and not necessarily the receivers are thinking, oh, we're out here to block for the run. They're thinking we could still get the ball. And so the reason why you put that on the front side is so that the quarterback can pull it and throw to the screen. He can still give it to the running back, or he can pull it and run it himself. And then on the backside, what you do is you go through these other RPOs that we're going to go over right now, whether it be a first level, second level, or a third level RPO. So first level RPOs we're going to talk about right now. This first one is just what we call fork, and it's kind of that, like, so you see right there the receiver here, he's going to run in. What he should do is he should get underneath this rover to protect this route right here. And what it's also going to do is it's going to kind of slow the route down itself. It doesn't need to get there super quick, because he's still got to be able to read him first, and then, you know, go through that mesh. This route doesn't have to get there super fast. This route is going to be a little bit more of a development. So he's going to run that bubble and then turn it up. All right. So we're going to show both of these routes being thrown right here, but I'd like him to get underneath that rover right there. All right. So one thing that we did at Midwestern too is we really utilized a lot of moving the receivers around without motion. We would motion a lot, but we would also have tight splits, wide splits, regular splits. And another thing that you can also do with all of this too, whether it be first level, second level, third level RPOs, is what you do with your tight ends, whether he's on or off. And then you utilize also inserting him so that he picks up that backside linebacker, and the tackle stays on the end instead of them doubling. You hack him for like split zone, and then you also utilize different things that you do with your running back too. Me personally, being the running backs coach, I wanted to protect them all the time. In not so in a coddling way, but I didn't want them to get messed up because we were going offset so many times. So a lot of the times we were offset, but you don't have to be. The only thing that you have to be offset for, and still be able to run your RPOs the way that you want to run them, whether it be first level, second level, is outside zone. Because if you're in pistol for outside zone, you can't really read it. You got to, you know, go to the old school stretch rules, basically. But if you're offset, you can still read that second level, first level, or even third level defender. So when it comes down to what we were doing differently with it being offset, and we did a lot. So we ran inside zone, outside zone, power, counter, and pin and pull. So what we would do a lot of times, and it worked mainly with pin and pull, was we would go offset, and then we would go, we just call quick pitch. So your sweep rules kind of, and that's how we kind of got away with being offset and not giving away which way we're going to run. So here's the exact same play. So he's going to come in here. He needs to sit down at about 6 yards. He's going to bubble and then cut it up. The big thing here is that the defender loses the bubble up, and then that's why this play goes for so many. Boom. Hits that hole shot, and then having a ball carrier helps you out. Notice how the quarterback right here, he's treating this like triple option. So that's the big difference between your first level RPO and your pre-post RPO. Your pre-post RPO, you're not really going to treat that like triple option unless it's you determine that it's going to be a post read. So pre, I'm catch throw. Post, I'm going to go through my mesh, and then I might try to attack that rover and then throw. Here, we're first level RPO, so we're reading this defensive end. He's squeezing down the line right here. I'm going to pull it, and now I'm going to attack the route that I'm trying to throw to. All right, next one right here. This is what we call, like I said, I didn't have any outside receivers film, but this is like what we should do as like the double move, if you will, for the outside receiver. So if you run a bunch of outside receiver screens, this is what's going to get him right here. He's running a screen right here, but he's acting like he's going to get that corner, and then he's just going to run it up. And this did really well right here in the red zone. That was a poor video right there. Here we go. He goes, attacks that corner. Oh, he triggered. Boom. Touchdown. Easy. All right. And so then, like I said, this is what I would call on the backside of whatever we're running. So if I'm running inside zone to the left and it's a 2x2 set, I'm going to have what we call a you-me screen on the front side. And it's going to be basically you have the slot determine whether he's getting the screen or the outside receiver is getting the screen. So he can just say, hey, you, or he says me. And so then that's all the communication that needs to happen. The reason why the quarterback can hear it, but he doesn't really need to hear it, because that throw is going to be coming at pretty much the same angle, and it's going to be thrown to about the same spot. Because we teach the outside receiver screen, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then come back to the line of scrimmage. He's not coming back to the ball. It's not a hash screen. The only time it's a hash screen is if you get, your guard tackle coming out there. But he just needs to come back to the line of scrimmage. And the reason why we want him to just come back on the scrimmage is because I don't want it to get to the hash. I don't want him to keep coming out. I want him to catch that ball and then get back out to the sideline. So that slot should be trying to either push that corner out, or if he can, try and keep him inside of him. But if he pushes him out to the sideline, he really did his job. All right. So this is kind of a smash concept right here. A lot of teams run this, but we call the axe. That was an empty set there. That's why the corner running back came back. So basically what you're going to get here, and there's two ways to do this too. So you can have this guy run the bubble or this guy run the bubble. But basically this outside receiver right here is going to come inside right here and sit it down just like on fork at 6 yards. He should come underneath this guy. Reason for that, again, is he's not the first read. He's the second read. But it's also going to protect the bubble from this guy getting to it. So he comes underneath him. He should sit at 6. All right. He's running a corner. So you're reading this top down. You're reading corner, sneak to bubble. And like I said, you can do it where the third receiver or the second receiver runs the bubble. It's all dependent on your verbiage in your offensive system. So we would have different ways to have these receivers do it. So if we're in a 3-by-1 set, we could say any route combination. We could say steamer switch, or we could say steamer swap. And basically what that's going to do is that these two are going to switch means inside receivers, swap means outside receivers. So 2 and 3 are going to switch routes, and then swap means 1 and 2 are going to switch routes. But here it is right here, reading it top down. He's going to throw the corner route right here. Let me go back so it's not so choppy. But I mean, this is a first level read. He's just reading that defensive end right there. He says, okay, he's squeezing down the line. All right, pull it, attack, throw. All right. Again, right here, same route combination. Now he's going to throw that sneak route. He's going to throw his second read. Big wide open space right there. It's easy. I really like this combination. I think it's one of the better route combinations out there. We called it scat at Mayville. All right, and then here's the third version right here, same route combination. Now he's going to throw that bubble. And like I said, it's a triangle read right here. He's reading corner, sneak. He could probably have thrown the corner right there too. But a lot of space out there. He sees that he's coming in on the sneak. It's a really bad job by the defense right there. Not a lot of communication. Easy throw to the bubble, and bails him out. All right. So now we're going to start getting into the second level reads, and really when it comes to kind of breaking this all down, it's really, you don't even really have to throw quick game. Drop back is going to still be its own thing, but I really believe in no play action and not really any quick game either, because I want that ability to make sure that the defense is wrong. So with the RPO stuff, you have that ability to run the ball on every single play, and you have the ability to throw the ball on every single play. So with your quick game, you can utilize all your quick game in the second level RPO stuff. So like you can still utilize double slants, which is this first play right here. You can utilize slant flat, slant bubble, your speed out go. One of my favorite plays really on third down is stick draw. We didn't do it at all at Midwestern, but we did it a lot on third down at Mayville, and it was a super productive play. I mean, you got those double speed outs, you got a fade that you can yes, no, and then you have the ability, okay, well, if they're expanding, then I just give that ball to my running back, and I should be able to pick up 5 yards really easily. So this first play right here is just going to be double slants. Now, when it comes to second level RPOs, all we have to do, some people make it super complicated. I think one of the reasons why we weren't super successful that second year at Independence, or third year under Jason Brown, was because that the quarterbacks were so confused on who we were throwing it to. Now Malik obviously was super sharp. He could probably teach this better than anybody, but they were always talking about -1 to the mic. Well, the center's calling the mic, not the quarterback. So he's got to make sure that he's in tune to what the center says, and he's probably thinking about a million different things. He's looking at what's going on up here. He's looking at corner leverage. He's snap count, all that type of stuff. So he's not really in tune to who the center is describing is the mic. But really all you have to do is you're counting these 6 right here in your box. All right. Some of you might consider this corner in the box right here, but I'm not going to consider him in the box. This is a 12 personnel set right here. You got your tight end right here and your wing right there. All right. I'm reading this guy right here. As simple as that. I'm counting these 6 in the box. I'm reading that first guy outside of the box. All right. So real simple right here. This is an easy decision for the quarterback too. He sees that rover is going to blitz. So it's just blitz replace. Normally I'm telling that inside receiver that he's got to attack the toes of number 2, get inside of him, and then get vertical. Because I really don't want to throw this route right here. That's basically we call it a lookie. That route right there is basically a decoy to get this route open. I want to throw the outside receiver slant because if he does it really well, he should be stepping on the toes. When I coach receivers, I tell them every single time you want to sell it like it's going vertical. So I'm telling him he wants to step on the toes of the receiver. Once he gets to that 3rd step, boom, he's going to break it off, and we call it flatten off to win. So I'm not going to keep it at your stereotypical 45-degree angle the entire time. Oh, no, what did I do? Let's go back to that. There we go. I'm not going to keep it at your stereotypical 45-degree angle. This really turns into like it's angled, but then it's really kind of like rounded off into a 5-yard in kind of. So he's going to step on his toes, get vertical, but when he sees him blitz, he doesn't need to. He can just get into an open window right there. So he runs your stereotypical 3-yard slant, get in. Back that up again. 3-step slant. Keep it at 45. He's not going to run into the box right there. Boom. Good throw right there. All right. Again, having a quarterback and a receiver, that makes everything a big difference. And to all the running back coaches out there, I'll apologize, but none of these are going to be runs. They're all throws. All right, so then this is a great one right here. We call this action at Mayville. We call it slice at Midwestern. But basically what this is right here is this goes back to, you got to mix things up with motion. You got to mix things up with personnel. You can't just be 2x2. You can't just be 3x1. We did a lot of quads last year, and we killed people with it, especially when you go into the tempo stuff. When you go tempo and you're in quads, that really screws people up because they're like, oh wait, did we count wrong? Like, where's the tight end at? But so you've been killing people all day with the screens, with the bubble screens right here. So again, like I said, you can do it multiple different ways with the motion too. If you got a guy who's good at carrying the ball and they got to respect that, he can come right here and act like he's going to get the ball on the mesh as well. Or he can go behind. We call this a jump motion at Mayville. But what these two are going to do out here is they're going to act like they're blocking. So we call this one right here is a stock and go, and here's this right here is a stock and slant. So he's going to come at the rover, act like he's going to block him, and he's going to find green grass right here. Same right here. He's going to come right here, act like he's going to block that corner, and then he's going to go. He's just got the bubble right there, and you can absolutely throw the bubble too. But right here, they do a really good job. I don't like going behind the defender. I think that's a bad route. You want to go underneath this defender if possible. If he's screaming down at the bubble, screw him. He took himself out of the play. But I would like to go underneath this defender right here. And that's a good job by the quarterback to find an open man. All right, so that's a great one. I really enjoy that route combination right here. But this one right here is probably where Midwestern made their, a lot of their money right here. It's 4 verts. So you're doing 3 verticals out here, and it's not all streaks like back in the old days, but it's 4 verts principles, and then you obviously make it right with your receivers. So one of the things that we did at Mayville that I liked a little bit better than what we did at Midwestern was we had this guy on what we call as a bender route. So he should be attacking the number 2 defender, which he's too wide right now. But if he attacks this guy, he's going to be like, wait, where's he going? So what we would do is we'd have him attack him. So he's got to get under number 2, which is really easy right here. And then he's got to locate number 3. So he would step on his toes, get underneath, and then if this guy blitzes, it's easy, green grass, he's staying over the top of him. But if he drops back to a Tampa 2 type look, he's got to make sure that he gets underneath him. So it's step on toes number 2, locate number 3, make your decision right there. At Midwestern, we just did 6 yards upfield and then get 45 across the field. So we called that a boiler route. And both routes work. We threw a lot of those routes at both places. The thing that Midwestern did a little bit better than Mayville did is with this guy right here. So at Midwestern, what we would do with him is he's got 3 reads. So against cover 1 and cover 3, he can keep the seam right here, like regular 4 verts. Or if he sees 2, he can split those 2 safeties. If he sees 4, and what you got to teach your receivers the difference between 2 and 4. 4, these guys are going to keep on the hashes a little bit more than they are on 2, because on 4 they've got these corners dropping for a quarter too. So, but in 2, these guys aren't going to necessarily stay on the hashes. They're going to split the difference between the hash and the numbers more. So he's got the ability to split those guys, and it really turns into like more of a post. But in 4, cover 4, he's going to bend it in front of those safeties. All right. And then we don't teach like it's not just a go, for those outside receivers. We don't teach just straight fades, straight goes. We teach what we call go reads. Now at Mayville, we did even, leaving, dropping, stopping. Me being a slow wide receiver, I would always tell my quarterback, I said, if I'm even with him, I'm actually going to drop. So you kind of got to know personnel wise. I think you can be a little bit lenient on that rule right there. If he's a burner, if he's even with him, he can leave. If he's not a burner, he needs to be dropped. So you kind of make that decision at about 12 yards. But we don't teach comebacks at Midwestern. We taught dropouts. So he's going to get up to 12 yards. And if he's going to drop out, he's just coming right back down that stem. He's not going to go 45 degrees angle at the sideline just because it's an easier throw for the quarterback. I learned this from Coach Akins this year, that you give the quarterbacks your numbers, you make it an easier target. So that's why on our bubbles, we stopped doing the shuffle and kind of giving them that like side view. We went to 3 yards at a 45 or 3 steps at a 45 degree angle. So that way, if you're off the ball already, now you're to the line of scrimmage and now you just backpedal quickly. It's going to get to the exact same point, but it's an easier target for the quarterback. All right, so let's actually just watch this right here. Here we're going to throw that second route right here. He's just going to read this guy right here. He's reading this rover right here. So in all honesty, he probably should have gave it, because the rover absolutely did not play the run. But this is where they made their money. This right here was kind of the bread and butter of the whole offense. You're running outside zone, like we're in quads right here with a receiver over here as well. So our running back right there, you read him, but you still made him wrong because you had a dude right there that could make something happen. All right. And then here's how you kind of mix it up too. So these next two aren't going to be your base ways to run this play. There's going to be a little what we call the zip motion from the outside receiver. So you got to make sure that your receivers understand your concepts conceptually. They don't just know X, they just don't know H, they don't know Y, they don't know Z. It's conceptual. They need to know the entire thing. And completely honestly, that's how I made it onto the field in college. Was I understood the concept. I didn't just know X, H, Y, or Z. So these guys understand right here that if this guy comes into being the number 3 receiver, he has to now be the outside receiver. He has to be the number 2 receiver. So he isn't going to run that regular seam to bender to carve route, and he's not going to run the boiler route because he's not going to come all the way into number 3 to be the go read on the outside. So right here, he motions inside right here. He really motions the number 2, so there was a switch in there. And he's going to run that bent, what we call boiler route. So it's not a great route by him. He needs to get vertical right there a little bit more. Well, it's okay. But you'd like to see him get vertical instead of running a little bit more 45 immediately. And the number 2 receiver there doesn't do a good job of getting to his landmark either. But at the end of the day, that corner is like, wow, I'm not going to get to that. And it's an easy completion right there over the middle. Especially when you get those I don't know why, but everybody's afraid of outside zone. And especially these guys, they're like, okay, we got to get to that guy. Well, it helps that he was the school leader in rushing, but anyway. And then here's the last one right here. So now we're doing the same thing, same exact play, except for you're just going to throw it to this guy right here who's on the go read. So now the corner's like, oh, shoot, I got to get there. They already threw this route. Oh, I got beat over the top. There's got to be some sort of language between these guys right here. And, I mean, they're 4 over 3. They got numbers, but they lost one. So utilizing motion between those guys is really going to help you out. We were blessed to have Sky Morningwig as our quarterbacks coach this year, young coach on the rise, and his dad is Marty Morningwig. So Marty Morningwig comes in and he tells us, he's like, yeah, I never run the same play twice in a game. So when he says that, like, you're telling me you don't run power more than once, that's bull. What he's saying is that he's running the same play, but he's disguising it in so many different ways. It's got to be different motions, got to be different formations, got to be different personnel, all that type of stuff. So it's really important that your receivers, your tight ends, your running backs, quarterback, offensive line, that's a whole different animal. But they all have to understand that these route concepts are conceptual. They're not just, oh, H runs this, X runs this, all that type of stuff. So and then here's kind of the last one that you do with it, and it's still a vertical concept. You're just going to switch up who's doing what. And this year we went out to hopefully I'm not pronouncing this wrong, but Natchitoches, Louisiana, and we play Northwestern State, which is an FCS program. We're a D2 program. We go out and put like 35 on them. I think the quarterback first ever start threw for like 300 yards in the first half. Well, they couldn't stop our vertical RPOs, and it was because we were mixing in that 3-vert concept right there with this right here, where you're going to get the switch from the 2 inside receivers. Let me run that back a little bit. So it kind of looks like we do this 2 different ways. We can do this out of this play right here was only a 3-by-1 play, but we also had a 2-by-2 play called gas, where these 2 do what these 2 receivers are going to do right here. But basically, this guy is going to get to that number 2 landmark of 4 verts. He's still running his go read, but he's going to run a delay slant. So he's going to kind of take his time getting vertical, and then he's just going to cut across the field, and that's what they're going to throw right here. and it's really difficult to stop, especially if this guy gets lost. So boom, taking his time. Well, again, like I said, it makes a big difference if you got a ball carrier that can make plays. But boom, take his time, cut across the middle. It's different. It's really a rub route that you're creating right there, and boom. That's why I said I'm not going to utilize quick game really that much. If I want to do two like half field concepts, that's cool. But as far as everything else goes, quick game, I don't really need to because I have that ability to squeeze those linebackers down with the run and then throw behind them with the exact same route concepts instead of them seeing, oh, it's pass. All right, now I have the ability to get behind or back up. And so now I have the ability to maybe cover one of those slot receivers out there. I want to make sure that I confuse the linebackers as much as I possibly can. I want them to respect the run. And with all of this being said, this year we had two running backs that were all conference. One was second team, one was honorable mention. The honorable mention one was a sophomore, so he's got incredible upside. But right here, this right here, these next couple plays are what really made people fear the passing game right here. So this is where the third level RPOs come in. And for the most part, it was all 2x2 stuff. You can do some 3x1 stuff. But right here, we're going to just talk about 2x2 RPOs. And what you really kind of want to do is more likely going to be a hash type play, and you're going to read that boundary safety. Okay. So you can read the corner as well in certain situations. But that's going to be more so if you've got a middle of field close, you're talking cover 3 and cover 1 type teams. But people were so fearful of the bang that they would be sometimes I mean, if you look right here, he's got to respect this out here. I mean, they're pretty much 3/2. Because they don't know what we're going to do with this single receiver out here. What we're going to do up front, too, is we're running play side power. So what I mean by play side is that most of the time, if we're running power to the right, most of what we're going to do, and again, this comes back to the verbiage that you have installed into your playbook, but he's going to step to the left and then come across the quarterback's face. Whereas when we call play side power, we're running power to the left now, and he's going to take the exact same footwork. His aim point is just obviously to the left now instead of to the right. But right here, he's going to run a bang 8 right here. That's what's really going to be fearful for the secondary is covering that bang 8 because he is reading this safety right here. This safety right here is more likely a run fitter. You got 6 in the box right here. They need this safety to come down and fill a gap. So he sees the pulling guard. I mean, he knows that there's a potential for run, and power is one of the greatest plays out there. I think it'll still be around 100 years from now if we still have football. But I mean, he sees that safety drop down. Boom, it's easy. Throw that bang 8. Plus, you have a soft safety there too, or a soft corner. I mean, he's already bailing. You don't even have to be that great of a receiver to run that route right there. As long as you're pressing verticals, trying to step on his toes, you get to 8 yards, boom, cut it off. Easy. If he was faster, that's a touchdown. All right. And really, I'm going to look into more of this as I progress as a coach as well, into finding more things that you can do with the third level RPOs. But then this is the other one that we do right here. So again, this is 2x2. You got the offset tight end. So he's going to do what I call insert. He's going to insert and he's going to pick up this linebacker right here. But this works really well when you're going against 1 or 3 teams. coverage wise. You're gonna read this corner out here, and so we called it two different ways. You can call any run play, but you're reading that third level defender, and then you can call bang, or you can call steamer. So steamer was our vertical. So like I said, it doesn't matter what's going on out here. That's why I would have a pre-post snap uh, screen out there. So if he likes the numbers out here, he can throw it out there. Then he can go through the mesh and say, I can give it, or I can run it myself. And then his fourth option, you're talking about four options now. He can throw it out here. So what this guy's going to do is, so we got steamer called right here. He is going to just run a regular, what we call go read. So at 12 yards, he's going to decide whether he wants to drop out or keep it going. And look at what they got going on here. Like it's only two technically receivers out here, but this guy is so wide because he has to respect what's going on out here. Because they've probably thrown a couple bang eights or even this go read on him. So boom, he sees that corner playing so soft, he's not going to beat him. All right, he just drops it back down in his stem, and it's an easy 12. What do you get? 8? I'll take that all day. All right, and then this is kind of the last one I'm going to talk about. And then this is, it's the same play, but now he's going to keep it going. So here he steps on his toes, and boom. It really helps when that quarterback back there can stand in there and take a shot and still make the throw. Like I said, that was Leighton Rabb. He had an opportunity with the LA Rams in a camp, and then that receiver ended up being the offensive player of the year. So, boom, flat-footed corner, keep it going. All right, and then so kind of what I want to talk about too, the last real tidbit I got for you is I was at the convention this year, and it's really important, I think, now to get an athlete back there at quarterback, especially if we want to run the RPO type stuff, because QB runs are super. It's kind of a cheat code because the defenses don't count them as like a person to account for usually. But so what South Dakota State has been doing, and I really love this concept of this third level RPO type stuff too, is so they're going to take this receiver and put him over here. So you got your 3-by-1 set, you got a solo tight end over here, okay? So what they're going to do is they're going to run QB power. So running back is up here. He's going to be an extra blocker. So say he goes over here, all right, now. So it's just this corner out here all by himself. And I apologize that I don't have any film of this, but I'm not at SCSU. So what they're going to do is they're going to run QB power, and kind of like what you guys saw with what they did with Trevor Lawrence this year in the national title game. He's going to run up like he's actually running it. But on the backside right here, they're running that 3 verticals. So he's in the run, so he's doing power, all right? And then on the backside right here, they've got that bender route that I was talking about, like we did at Mayville State. He's going to run that seam to bend to carve, and he's got to go read. So he's going to run right here. He sees that safety come down. Well, now he's going to throw that bender right behind that safety's head. And that's kind of like the big cheat code that I really liked that South Dakota State does. So, yeah, that's kind of all I got. How we doing, Coach?
Sure. Who's talking right now? Hold on, Coach. Coach, you good?
Yeah, that's kind of all I got right there.
Hey guys, does anybody have any questions for Coach? Feel free to hit that chat box. I opened it up. Coach, while they're doing that, how can they get in contact with you?
I got one PowerPoint slide right here, so there's the contact info right there. So,
Coach, just unshare your screen and then share back with the PowerPoint up.
okay.
Hey, Coach Metzger, hold on one second. I'm just wrapping up this one session. Okay. Well, I'd love to get you on there, but yeah, shoot me your email. I'll communicate with you there.
Yeah, so there's my contact information right there for everybody.
Well, I'm saying I'd like to get you on there though. Let's do it one day next week. Sounds good. Really but any questions for Coach? Yeah, no. I'll send you the link to the drive. Absolutely, I'll talk to you.
Feel free to hit me up at any time on both too, because I'm 24. This quarantine stuff is making everything super boring, and I don't have a girlfriend or anything either. So all my time can be spent on my phone. I don't really care.
It's one of those times, man. Just we all got a lot of time. So. But no, we appreciate you taking the time, Coach, and obviously gave a great presentation on RPOs. If anybody had, once again, if you needed any of this information, I'm sure Coach would be willing to share some stuff. Just reach out to him on Twitter or Cell, and talk some more RPO stuff. So this is where it's at. Once again, we're in this thing together, man, to continue to lean on each other and all that stuff. So. Coach, there's a question. What's the one thing defenses do to give you fits?
Really, it starts off with gap exchange. I would say when you do a lot of first-level RPO stuff, the gap exchange stuff really hurts you, and then the tech stunts, the stunts that you do up front. But if you got a quarterback back there that's savvy, he's got to be able to see that your offensive line obviously has to be able to see that type of stuff happening. And then they got to bring that information back to you. If you got a guy up top that can see that stuff too, you really got to make sure that you're locked into that and taking his suggestions as well. But as long as you see that, then you got to switch it up and you got to start going to the second level RPOs. But as long as you are mixing up your first level and second level and third level RPOs throughout the game, you should be good. One of the things that Northwestern State tried to do against us was they tried to add like that rover. He had his back turned to our single receiver so that he could kind of protect against that bang eight. But it didn't really work all that well. That was kind of their decision. And then the other thing is just having athletic outside linebackers where they can kind of make themselves right. They're making flat-footed reads and being able to play the run and the pass at the same time. The 3-4 defenses is probably the most difficult thing right now, or having the 40 Okie type stuff. We didn't do super well against teams like that. But if you're a 4-3, 4-2-5 stuff, that kind of plays into the RPO's hands a lot of the time. But as long as you're mixing your stuff up, and then like I said, the pre-post snap RPOs, that's why I don't even think you should really like just straight up call those. I think that should be on the front side of your run, and then you can make sure that you're right. You got to make sure that you're throwing the screens though. If you don't throw the screens ever, they're never going to respect it.
Coach, did you see much 3 safety stuff this past season?
No, I wouldn't say 3 safety stuff. Yeah, we pretty much saw 2 safety stuff. I mean, Tarleton State was probably the most difficult team that we went against. Now that's mainly due to personnel, but anybody who can play, in my opinion, anybody who can play man too, that's a pretty damn good defense athletically, because, I mean, run-wise, you're usually a hatch short, but you're just expecting that your defense is going to rally to that ball. But, yeah, they played a lot of man too and 4 against us.
Good deal. All right, if anybody has any questions, man, just shoot them in there. If not, just reach out to Coach Hafner on Twitter. He'll be willing to answer anything that you guys may have remembered later on. But, Coach, I appreciate you spending the time with us, man, this afternoon. And and dropping some knowledge on the RPO game, man.
Hey, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, man.
Oh, anytime, man. Anytime. Good. That's definitely. I'm trying to see. Nope. I thought that question came in. Yeah. No. Yeah. See, getting a lot of love in the chat, man. Just did a great job.